We'll go live on Flatline Radio. Hello, Facebook, X, whatever it's called now, YouTube. Yeah, this is a little pre-show stuff.
The artist formerly known as Prince. Thank you all out there for sharing. I have, over the past 10 days, gotten like 40 people that have joined us on
I've seen that.
Following us now, either on Facebook or on Blog Talk Radio or X or any of the others. But I get notifications from some of these, and we over the past
1 minute until showtime.
We've gotten a good 42 people that have picked up, started to follow us. So that's pretty cool. Thank you. Thank you out there. If you're listening now and you joined us and you're following us, thank you. And tell your family and friends and people you pass on the street and all that good stuff.
That'll be interesting. Just random people.
Yeah. I had a kid come to the door, and he trying to switch cable carriers, and I told him the reason we left the one that he has. I said, I have a Blog Talk Radio program, and the cable went out, and I called you guys, and you said, we couldn't get to it until Saturday, and this was on a Monday, and I thought that's unacceptable because I do a radio on Thursday, and they said we can't do it, and so we switched carriers.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4,
I'm done with my story.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2.
Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go.
This is All About Wine, the talk show dedicated to the wine industry since 2009. Featuring winemaker, cellar master, vineyardist, and tasting expert, Ron.
Basically, what we're trying to do on this program is just trying to educate people and trying to make wine less confusing and more friendly.
From coast to coast and around the world.
You know, we really have had some neat people on the program. I love that.
Post your questions and comments during the live show on our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. Again, that's www.facebook.com/allaboutwinebtr. And now, All About Wine is on.
All About Wine.
Here's Ron.
Thank you. Godspeed. They got to keep moving because they're so cold.
It is. Yeah. And I think we need to stop giving them the party favors. What do they call those things? The noisemakers. I think we need to stop giving those. They're going to be a little carried away. They just don't know.
Yeah, they have been. Yeah, that's true.
So maybe next one. I'm still trying to.
Yeah, well, we had those left over from the big All About Wine New Year's Eve party, and we figured we'd go ahead and give them to them. And get rid of them.
Yeah, I've never been to Burgundy, France before. That was exciting. I appreciate all that coordinated.
Yeah.
And,
we got the private jet up and running again for All About Wine, and
it's fantastic.
And we figured we'd do end of the year trip over there, so that was fun. Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Video coming soon.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. People know that's not true because they listen to our production value and they say, well, if they got a private jet, why don't they put more money into the show?
Good. Yep. Well, that's just it. We put so much into travel and travel expenses that we don't have money for production. So
there you go.
It's a two-way thing. If we had,
that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, that's what happens. But the bottom line, we have to get rid of those noisemakers. It's almost as irritating as the Whistler.
They're expensive. They're like $1 for 20 of them, and it's just ridiculous to pay that kind of money every week for those noisemakers. And we could save $1 and pass it along to pass that along to everybody out there.
That's good point. Good point. And they, and the worst thing about it is they don't take them with them. We don't have our logo on them. We don't have our name on them. They're just generic ones, and they don't take them with them. They just throw them down on the ground.
Exactly. What a waste! It's like take them with you. Use them. Next year, whatever.
Exactly. Or if you come visit us again, just say, "Thank you, I have one." Yeah, but no. So no.
Oh well.
People.
Welcome to the show. Right, people.
People.
That's one sentence. Says it
thanks for tuning in to All About Wine.
Yes.
This is live on January the 11th, 2024, at 7:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah. And you've got Mike and Ron, and this is All About Wine. Yay. So we covered the call signals and everything there. Just information night. Nothing exciting happening or anything. We got, I'm a sports fan. I mention it quite often. And I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan because I was born and raised there. They're playing in cold weather. It's only supposed to be like 18 degrees at game time. And so they're really, really going to be cold there. And the players are going to be running around, bouncing off each other and all that. But the poor people in the stands, I mean, you cannot dress up warm enough to really keep off that cold if you're just sitting there. So best of luck to the people in the stands. And Kansas City's quite upset, too. What's that?
I was just saying it's the people in the stands, the ones that are in the lower seats, they paid a little bit more, but man, they do have some blockage there. They don't have to worry about that wind, but it's the people that are, 1,200 feet up in the air in the upper bleachers, whatever the altitude is. Yeah. They're in their own little climate up there.
There's no wind block there.
Yeah. There's none.
None at all. They're supposed to put heaters around the stadium. I just read something too that they're going to be putting heaters around the stadium.
Yeah, down on the field.
Just so you can get close to them and warm up.
Yeah.
So that will help.
Gosh. Yeah.
But they.
Good luck.
It's cold. It's going to be cold. Oh, and people in Kansas City are upset too because the show is only on Peacock. It's not on anything else.
How much is that?
It's only on Peacock.
Wow.
And they're, Peacock paid the money, and so they get the show. And the people in Kansas City are saying, wait a minute, we can't afford to go to the game because playoff tickets are expensive.
Oh, sure.
And we always like to watch it on TV, but now you're blocking us basically from watching on TV unless we get a subscription to Peacock. And so people are really, really quite upset about the whole thing there. So, you can't blame them. I mean,
it's a money thing.
It is.
They let
it's a money thing.
A paid network purchase the rights to it. And now you have to pay to watch it on the paid network, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
it is. So a lot of Chiefs fans around the country, and a lot of Miami Dolphin fans are all really complaining ever since that was announced. So, oh well. Okay. I've got Peacock. I've had Peacock, so I'll be able to watch it. But that's not a comfort to my sister, who is a big Chiefs fan, and she lives in Kansas City, and she's complained to me a couple times already. So, well. Okay. What do we got tonight? We got different odds and ends for you tonight. Nothing exciting, but let's see. Nope, that's not it. Is this it? I think it might be, if I get on the right page here. What is this? No, that's Not what I'm looking for. Had a winery that I wanted to tell you about that has, where is it? I need to find them.
It's a live show, folks. It's a live show.
Yeah, it is. Oh. Dun, 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 dun,
yes.
Dun. Okay, here it is.
Oh.
Walt's Vineyard. I've mentioned Walt's Vineyard every once in a while to you. Walt's Vineyard is located in Manheim, Pennsylvania, on 1599 Old Line Road, Manheim, Pennsylvania. Phew, no phone number here for them. But they're coming out with their Valentine dinner, the menu and all that, so you can book it early. It's going to be February the 9th at Bent Creek Country Club and Lidditz on February the 9th. The says, welcome with a glass of Semillon, appetizers and Stagel Rosé, salad and Sauvignon Blanc, seafood and Kissel Valley Chardonnay, beef tenderloin and Greenside Reserve, and chocolate desserts and Red Rock. So there you go. I mean, they're having, well, you're starting out with a glass of Semillon that's just so you can have one. And then they go on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more wines with 5 different courses. That is really exciting. It says the tickets are, and I just clicked on the get tickets, $150 a person for all guests. And tastings of 6 Waltz wines, mingle with the winemakers, and then I just read you the menu. And it is February 9th, 5:30 to 11:30. Is that right? It looks like it's 5:30 to 11:30. So $150 per person. Wow, that can get expensive to take the wife. So Walt's Vineyards.
5-course meal. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's 5-course meal, and I get them.
Just thinking.
Yeah, but it's still. Ew.
I can, I memorize phone numbers for just everything. I believe they are 717-664-9463, if I remember correctly.
There you go.
Strictly from memory, 717-664-9463. That's Walt's Vineyards Estate Winery, like you said, on Old Line Road in Manheim, Steamroller, Pennsylvania. Wait a minute.
It's not Steamroller. Man,
it's not Steamroller. Oh.
Don't look up Steamroller. I think Steamroller every time I say the name too, but it's not.
That's where I got that wrong. Manheim, Pennsylvania. Check it out.
Manheim, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So it's thank you. You can give them a call and make your reservation. So that's as simple as that. And let's see, do I have another winery here? I thought I did. I guess not. Huh. Well, maybe I misplaced the winery. I could have. Oh, well. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, there it is. Okay, Tassel Ridge. I knew I had it somewhere here. Tassel Ridge. We always got Tassel Ridge. Tassel Ridge is located in Iowa. And it's in the southeast corner of Iowa. You've all heard me talk this enough times. You probably know most of these addresses anyway. Located in Layton, Iowa, 1681 220th Street. And it's southeast of Pella, Iowa, and northwest of Oskaloosa. And if you're in that part of the country, you know where that stuff is, basically. they are having their wood-fired calzones and wood-fired pizzas coming up. Calzones on the 19th, Friday night. Pizzas on the 26th. Reservations required for all that. They have a special bottle, Sweethearts Rosé release, and it is in a heart-shaped bottle. Really pretty cool. The bottle has the bottom that it sits on a stand, but then it's shaped like a heart, and it says Sweethearts on it, right? Great big, and then it says Rosé, a little bit smaller, but it's there. But very nice. 500 milliliter bottle priced at $25. And what a great Valentine gift. So that has been released. You can get that. And plus any of their other wines. They got a whole bunch of different wines there. Okay. Oh, here's a quiz for you. The ideal glass for wine tasting is A, glass or crystal in a variety of colors. B, plain clear glass or crystal. C, high quality glasses with elaborate etchings. Or D, 10-ounce tumbler. And the answer is, we all know the answer to that. We really don't need to look at that, do we? Is the plain clear glass or crystal. You don't want anything to hide the wine because you want to look at the color. You want to look at the legs. You want to look at the edge of the wine and all that good stuff. And if it's a colored glass or an etched glass or any of that other pretty things to do the glasses, then you've lost that opportunity. So a plain clear glass or crystal is the answer to that, and the ideal choice if you're going to taste wine. So, Tassel Ridge, I've talked about them many times. They got some pretty nice wines there. They're located in southeast Iowa, and there hasn't been too much bad weather there, so you're wide open to make a trip there if you're anywhere in the area. Snows haven't really accumulated and gotten bad there yet, so you're in pretty good shape right now. Okay. Excuse me. Regenerative winemaking, regenerative agriculture, regenerative is something that's really popular now. I get a email from Regenerative Organic website about every week, maybe even more than that. And they sent me one, but this one here is pretty interesting. They got some pretty interesting stuff in it that I found fascinating, if you will. The Regenerative Organic Certified is a commitment to not use the chemicals, is to take care of the ground and everything, just like a step above organic, a step below biodynamic. Okay, it's between those two there, if you will. But these numbers are the ones that have really fascinated me. California is the #1 organic state in the nation with the most organic farms, acres, and sales. Well, yeah, because they're the biggest as far as wine goes. I'm sure they have the most, unless some state wants to go completely, but yeah, that's understandable. Organic sales increased 16% between 20 and 21, and it hit a record $14 billion. $14 billion. And more than 90% of California households purchased organic products on a regular basis. With California's investment of nearly $20 million in organic transition, organic research and technical assistance, and organic system plan development, organic certification is accessible to producers across the state. So they're getting behind it. California is doing a good job of getting behind this organic, regenerative organic movement, and I got to give them credit for that. It's does make a difference in the wines they're saying, and it is showing in the ones that are doing it, how many is taking over and how many is doing it. They go on with a lot of other statistics here, and of course they got excuse me, they got numbers to back it up. But it helps with the control of pests, and helps pollinators, and it helps the soil and all that other stuff when they do all this stuff. So it's a good thing. If you're interested in getting this email, which, I get it, I read through it, I glance through it sometimes, I read through it and all that, but if you're interested in getting this email, you can go to Regen Organic. That's REGENORGANIC, regenorganic.org, or go to info@regenorganic.org and sign up for their email. Pretty interesting stuff. Tells you quite a bit of stuff about the movement, the regenerative organic movement, and what it all involves, and it talks about stuff all the time on that. So give it a try and sign up for it. See what you can excuse me, see what you can find. My voice is terrible tonight. I've been talking a lot all day, and it is horrible. Okay, we've got I'm going to tell you, we got a guest next week, and the interesting book he wrote, The Wine List. So tune in next week, hear all about that. And then on February 1st, we've got a confirmed guest. So we're getting the guest back after the first of the year now. What made me think of that? I'm on the page here with that I've been writing to him. Okay. Let's see. Wine Spectator has their wine value of 2023. Their number one wine value of 2023. I cannot give you the top 10 because it comes out tomorrow, and we just missed it by one day. But they'll have the 2023 top 10 wine values coming out tomorrow. But the number one wine value of the year is the La Crema Pinot Noir out of Sonoma. It is the La Crema Pinot Noir Sonoma Coast 2021. Scored 91 points, and it is only $28, which is really a great price. I've had La Crema. La Crema makes some great wines. I really am always impressed with their wines. And so if you're interested, that is the number one wine, value wine, not the number one wine, but the number one value wine by Wine Spectator. It says the tasting notes, a mix of loganberry and damson plum. Okay, well, plum. Allied to a bright, racy frame with a nice, piercing, savory thread running through the finish. Drink now through 2028. It's a Pinot Noir. If you're not familiar with Pinot Noirs, this is a great way to get yourself started on them. And you get yourself started on this, you'll be disappointed on most of them after this. This is really, I've had like I said, La Crema wines before, and I've had their Pinot Noir, not this vintage, but I've had different vintages, and they've always been outstanding, not at all disappointing. So something to check out there. 2023 values of the year. Nope, a blank page. I clicked on 2023 values of the year, and it's blank. Coming out next week, or tomorrow, not next week, but tomorrow. So that takes care of that. But check out the La Crema 2021 Pinot Noir. That is very nice wine. Here's another thing I want to tell you about that's really interesting. 18 terrific taco and wine pairings. This is picked out by Wine Pros. Taco and wine. I never really considered having wine with tacos too much because there's such a diversity of taste in tacos. You have the meat, you have the lettuce, you have tomatoes, a little bit of everything there. So this David Gordon, who is a wine director at Grand Award-winning Tribeca Grill in New York City, says that a Petite Syrah would go great. Petite Syrah made with organic grapes from Lodi would go great with a steak taco. Morgan Faust, wine director of Galatories in New Orleans, suggested a Gruner Veltliner, which is a German white wine, to go with your seafood tacos. I've never had a seafood taco. I don't know. They scare me. And he said he would also choose an Albarino to go with the seafood if you're going to squirt limes and stuff on it. Kyle South, sommelier at Addison's in San Diego, who is also a New Mexico native, suggests let me find it on the list here, a Müller Schwarzhofburger Cabernet, which is another white wine with a hint of sweetness to it and a little bit of spice. He said that goes well with your tacos also. Boy, they're jumping out into different areas I've never thought of. This he's suggesting that with a spicy green chili Rilano taco, a German Riesling from Moselle. Wow. Tristan Petra from Stonehouse is two favorites he's suggesting are the a blend of Gamay, Pinot Noir, and Goudet, American interpretation of the classic Laura blend, and with tacos pairs well with some Al Pastor.
Ready to be an e-commerce.
Well, I don't know what an Al Pastor is, and so therefore I can't help you on that. Next one is Simon Roberts from the Tango Room in Dallas. This way he says tacos go in a lot of different flavor profile directions. So that's what I suggested. He's saying a crisp Pinot Grigio would be a good pick. I can see that now. I can get into that. Danielle Kuzinich from the San Francisco Wine Society is saying chicken tacos. You should open up a Vino Verde, a wine from Vino Verde glass of Barrero de Hospitable L'Oreal. I destroyed that, didn't I? For carnitas and fried tacos, Bollinger would be champagne would be good with that. He says champagne goes good with anything fried. Hunter Ham from Porter's in College Station, Texas, is suggesting a Brunello as his go-to wine with just about anything, which would include tacos and cilantro and lime and beef and all that good stuff. And Brian Hyder, wine director of Grand Award-winning Pluckman Inn in New Jersey, is saying that another champagne here would go well with tacos. They pair it with a crispy fried chicken tacos. So there you go. There are some ideas to go with your tacos. I never considered wine. I could definitely get into maybe a champagne. That would be interesting. A champagne with any number of tacos or fried food like the one suggested, or something along the lines of some Rieslings. Not real sweet Rieslings, but some Rieslings. Interesting. Opens the eyes up at the possibilities on those. So those are things, something to look at. Another event for you here. Widely acclaimed as one of America's premier culinary extravaganzas. It's the Food Network South Beach Wine and Food Festival. And this is presented by Capital One. It's abbreviated SOBEWFF for South Beach Wine and Food Festival, SOBE, South Beach. It's going to be February the 22nd through the 25th. It's a 4-day event. It serves as a global stage for the culinary elite, featuring top chefs, culinary personalities, and esteemed wine and spirit producers. The festival supports the mission to eat, drink, and educate in collaboration with the Chaplin School of Hospitality and Tourism Management at Florida International University. You can visit it at wait a minute, I just clicked on something, SOBEWFF, to get tickets and look at it. It's spread out on the beach and all around there and all that. I've never been to this. It's pretty cool. I know people who have been to it. And they did nothing but praise about it. One of the guys I used to work with attended it, and he said that it was really just a ball. It's 4 days long, 105 events, from burgers to fine dining, 500 experts. You have Food Network stars and celebrities and people on TikTok, from TikTok, and sommeliers and all sorts of stuff. And it's raised $37+ million that helps proceeds benefit the Chaplin School of Hospitality and Tourism Management. So it's quite the event, taking place on the beach and up and down around the area there, South Beach, Mid Beach, North Beach, all that area. So it is a fun time. How much, you ask? Well, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Where is the ticket? Here's the ticket. Tickets say, if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Why don't they? Oh, geez. All they have, well, they list all the people who's going to be at this thing, and it seems like they're just taking everybody from the Food Network and all the what is there, 2 or 3 different Food Network things there. Seems like they're taking everybody from all of those and to bring them down to Miami for this event. There is just a list and list and list of people for this here. So it's a lot of personalities and tickets. So here we go. It's broken down in all sorts of different things. All events, $100 and under events, new events. Oh, geez, just everything. I just want to. Here's packages. What would package tickets be? Packages. Build your own package. Bundle now and save 15 to 25%. Grand tasting package. I don't know how much tickets are. Put a whole bunch of money in your wallet and go down there. They've got all sorts of things going on here. It's just unbelievable. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all events. Let's see if they have any type of price for all events. No, they do not, because there's so many different types of all events. Whoa. You got speakers. You can choose between different speakers and different chefs. Wow. Go to that website. Check it out. I'm sitting here telling you all about it. It's just fun to peruse through it anyway, the website anyway. SOBEWFF.org. And that'll take you there, and you can look at the whole thing yourself. Quite a bit of people down there, quite a bit of stuff going on and all that. That is coming up February the 21st, or 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. No.
Thursday, 22nd, Friday, 23rd, Saturday, 24th, and Sunday, the 25th. So a lot of neat events and a lot of neat things going on there. February, that's a month away, so you have time to get your plans together for that. Something else I noticed here, which was strange, champagne and Korean fried chicken. Hey, gives you something to think about there anyway. And then, their wine of the year was, I just told you about the wine of the year, but I don't know their top 10 until tomorrow. So that doesn't do us any good. Let's see what else I got. On this page, okay, I think this page is taken care of. We can go back and talk about some of this stuff now. Got some highlights here. So don't be afraid of Napa and Sonoma's smoked vintage. 3 years ago when they had all the fires and everything in Napa, the skies were orange with smoke. It was unbelievable how bad it got out there. And so they're saying on this article, don't be afraid of them. The chance of smoke events is pretty slim now if you find a bottle from 2020. It's been worked with. It's been played with. And the whites, particularly, you can be pretty safe. The reds are the ones that are going to be more smoke-tainted than anything because the skin will pick up the flavors of the smoke and impart it into the wine. But otherwise, there's this article. This is also a wine enthusiast article saying the 2020 vintage is a small one, but you should be able to find yourself some great wines coming out of 2020. If there's smoke in it, they didn't make wines. And so therefore the ones that you're going to find are going to be ones that they detected no smoke. And so you're not going to be stuck with wines that are tainted with smoke taint. So look for them. 2020 vintage of California Napa, particularly in Sonoma. You can get yourself some decent wines there for under $20 and not have any problems with having smoke in it and all that. Although some of them are hard to detect until they've been in the bottle for a while. But hey, in fact, they have a list of wines here that are smoke taintless 2020 Napa and Sonoma Cabernets. And the first one they have listed here is Cathard Vineyard 2020 Cabernet Sauvignon out of Napa Valley for $440. 97 points, though. It should be a great wine. Here's a Lewis 2020 Cab from Napa, $120. A Turnbull, $110. And then they've got others which, vary in price. A Stag's Leap Cabernet Sauvignon for $57. That's really a pretty decent buy. Stag's Leap really puts out some pretty good wines. Whitehall for $56. Stag's Leap 2020 Artemis for $95. And William Hill Estate 2020 Cabernet Sauvignon out of Napa Valley, 92 points for $16. That is a really good buy there. And then they go on, they list others here and all that stuff. There's a 91-point Jackson Estate for $20. These are all Cabernet Sauvignons, by the way. Another Roots Run Deep winery, $20. And Francis Ford Coppola Director's Cut, $23. Oh, there, pretty good prices on those down there for Napa and the names that they have behind them. So check those out if you're interested in some decent Cabernets. The Ukraine. We all know about the war. We all know about Russia invading. And we know, Ukraine is standing up for themselves and they're battling back. But the wine industry is holding its own. It's still putting it together. It's still making wine. Like a winemaker here says, the vines don't care whether there is a war or not. They still need tinting, harvesting, and processing on schedule. And so the workers have been doing it. And he said aircraft flying over their heads, bombs being dropped close by, and they're still making wines. Bikush Winery is one of them, Chateau Chesnay, Stackhovis Wines. These are all different wineries that are still making wines. They're saying against all the odds, they're putting it together and they're coming out with some decent wines there. And so there's, what they say, 110 wineries across 36,600 hectares, equivalent, they say, to the Piedmont planning. There are 5 very big estates and a lot of real tiny producers, but the majority of them produce between 20,000 and 60,000 bottles a year, which is really pretty decent output. Odessa has become the largest and most important wine region following Russia's 2014 invasion of Crimea, which until then that was the largest wine producing area. So you can still find some decent Ukrainian wines. They're still putting them out, still working on them. They are using stainless steel amphoras, which is terracotta, if you will, no, cement. Oak barrels from France, Slovenia, and Ukraine, using all sorts of innovation and everything to get these wines out and to get them out well. They are really coming out with some good wines by all judges and people who have had them. I hate to say by the people who are making them, because the people who are making them are always excited about what they're doing, but these have been peer reviewed and they're really getting some good reviews. A new winery established near Kyiv produces 3 biodynamic wines from a range of a variety of different blends and stuff like that. And so they're even able to go biodynamic there. So Ukraine, look for them. Chardonnay 2022, pleasantly oaked, fruit forward. Here's a Cabernet Sauvignon 2022 that's full body, dark, fruit charged, and I'm sorry, I was looking at a picture here. It shows Prince Trebetsky Winery in the Ukraine in 2021. Then it shows in 2023, 2 years after the invasion, and it's been bombed out and deserted now. I was just looking at the 2 pictures here. That is obviously no longer in production. But lots of decent wines coming out of the Ukraine. I don't know if we see any here in the States or not. I'm sure we do. I'm sure we can find Ukrainian wines around the States here. When they're making that many bottles, I don't think it's limited to just European Union areas. I think we are going to get some here. I mean, we're sending them enough money for bullets. They should send us cases of wine. I think it's only fair. So if you see any, if you try any, I'll start looking for them more now too. But if you see any, you try any, drop me a note. Let me know what they're like. If you found them and all that. But please, I always ask for people to drop me a note on that stuff, and they never do. But if you do try Ukrainian wines, please let me know and what they're like. And if I happen to find any, I'll share with you the quality and what they were like also. The world's most expensive Proseccos. Yeah, well, Prosecco, Champagne, not as good as, and they're usually a little bit cheaper. Also, Prosecco is screaming at England now, and they're saying, you guys quit calling your champagnes or your sparkling wines Proseccos. And they are. They keep calling them Proseccos, and it's upsetting Italy because it's, stepping on their feet there. Oh, my engineer finally brought me a wine for tonight, and the evening's almost over. Thank you.
Late.
And this is a bread and butter Cabernet Sauvignon 2021, 13.5% alcohol by volume. That is the only thing on the front label. I love the minimalist attitude that some of these wineries take when they do that stuff. It is, she does something that drives me nuts when people do that. Take the corkscrew, stick the corkscrew right through the capsule and pull it out. And just, rip up the capsule as they're pulling it out. And that just drives me a little bit insane when people do that. If you do it, then don't. Okay, there you go. Now, that pours more evenly now. This says, vintage and bottled by Bread and Butter in Napa, California. Classic California Cabernet Sauvignon with hints of rich vanilla, toasted oak, and mocha. Perfect when enjoyed with good food and company. www.breadandbutterwines.com. Government warning, California Cabernet Sauvignon contains sulfide, 13.5% alcohol by volume, 750 milliliter. That's it. Very, like I say, very minimalistic label. They don't fancy it up or anything. Let's see. Let me give you a review on this. My review. Oh, I love that aroma. Oh my gosh. The classic Cabernet aroma just really jumps out in the initial smell there. And let's swirl it a little bit more just to... Oh, yeah, that's very good. It's not real dark, but it's... I took the initial taste there too. It's not real dark, but it's dark enough. It's about, Cabernet, maybe a little bit lighter than some Cabernets. Let's see, what else am I picking up in the aroma? I'm getting Cabernet, but I'm not getting any fruits or anything. I usually pick up different fruits in a Cabernet, and I'm not getting it so much yet. There, it's opening up a little bit. Okay, a little bit of blackberry, hints of blackberry. Dark cherries. Cabernets always look for plum, and I'm not getting any plum in this. That's surprising. Okay. Right, the vanilla. That is. Here they say hints of vanilla, and I am getting vanilla now. I couldn't picture what it was, but that is a vanilla aroma. Yeah, definitely. Once I realized what it was, it's very noticeable. And the second sip. Oh, very good. Mouth filling, coats the tongue nicely. Just enough tannins to do that. The acid is well balanced with the flavors. It's not so bitey that you shiver. Good balance between the acids and the flavor, and it's got a good. That vanilla is really starting to come out more and more. Good vanilla, and it tastes too. more so than I did in the aroma. The vanilla is coming out a lot in that. That's probably from the barrels, oak barrels. The wine overall, finish isn't real long, but it's good. Legs, I always like to tell you about the legs. Decent legs. Not real fast, but not super slow. And good distribution of legs around the glass where I've swirled it. So overall, very good. Bread and butter. I don't know the price. I told you I'd start writing down these prices to let you know, and I just haven't done it. It's Bread and Butter Cabernet Sauvignon 2021. And, excuse me, really a pretty decent wine overall. Very, very enjoyable wine. I got to pour myself some more here because the engineer will come in here and snatch the bottle. And then I won't have my extra pour there. Prosecco. Excuse me. Prosecco is not really that expensive. The world's most expensive Proseccos, this is according to Wine Searcher, scores of 90, 89, 88, 87, 90, 90. Prices range from $40 down to $24. The last two here, scores of 90 and 26 and 24. And so $40 for the first place one. Wow. The champagne, you go and get a Dom Perignon P3 Plenitude Brut Rosé, and that's currently sitting at $5,516. So, as I've said before, you want a great alternative. Prosecco is your choice here. And they're yelling at New England and telling them to quit calling, or not New England, England, quit calling your sparkling wines Proseccos. So, there we go. Most expensive Proseccos are really pretty cheap. The May frost in New York, did it take its toll? I don't know. This just kicked me out of this. Well, all right with you. I have an article before we go here that I want to tell you about that I thought this was very interesting. Old vine. You've seen, I'm sure, wines that say old vine, or French equivalent of Vieilles Vignes, Vieilles, Vieilles, Vignes, Vignes. I think French, if it's instant and consonant, you don't pronounce it, so maybe that's Vieilles Vignes, which is old vine. Simplest terms, old vine. What is old vine? You've seen it. I know you have. I've talked about it. I talked about having wines that say old vine on it, and I like old vine. And this is a great article here to explain it. So let me tell you about this. What is old vine? Viniculturists sing praises of old vines and claim that the fruit hangs on the older vines better. It gives you deeper flavors. It's nuances of the old vine over the younger vines. All these things. Age creates complexities is the word among them. But how old are old vines? What is the age limit? And there is no definition. Actually, legally, there is no definition of what an old vine is. In France, one producer may consider 20-year-old vines as old vines, while another may use the term for vines that are older than 70. So, yeah, you can't tell. In South Africa, the Old Vine Project certifies vineyards that are 35 years old or older as an old vine. Australia's Barossa region is really the only area that has a some semblance to an official definition, but it's still a voluntarily designation, and therefore you don't have to follow it, or you can do what you want. But it classifies old vine as those that are at least 35 years old, and it goes on to classify survivor vines as those that have made it past 70. Centurion vines as those over, obviously, 100, and ancestor vines as those over 125 years old. And yes, they have those in Australia. So these are designations that they have in the Barossa, but it's not, you don't have to follow those. Most people make the wine from those vineyards as single vineyard wines. So if they're blended, you have to use the youngest designation. So if you use an ancestor vine and it's blended with a survivor vine, you have to call it survivor. And so, that's the way that's the rules down there. On the other hand, you got California Historic Vineyard Society maintains a registry of heritage vineyards. And to earn a spot on this list, you have to currently be producing Golden State vineyards from an original planting date of at least 50 years ago, which isn't that far. That's the mid-60s, all right? And then a minimum of 1/3 of the producing vines trace back to that initial cultivation, so 1/3 of them. So if you planted vines in 1962 and they're still producing, 1/3 of that harvest can be blended with something from 2021, and according to this, you call it old vine, which doesn't seem right. The half-century mark was chosen as California's cutoff because it was inspired by the 50-year rule in American historic preservation, which the 50-year rule stipulates that historically significant properties younger than 50 years are usually deemed ineligible for National Register of Historic Places. So the decision to put wine at the 50-year point was the organization's, based on that. So the 1960s was when vines were changed from the trellising and later drip irrigation. And before that, the vineyards in California were head trained and dry farmed, which means you didn't have irrigation on them. But how do old vines differ from young vines? And it's a matter of what sets them apart from the younger vines, old vines, are the deep roots. That's really more than anything. As a grapevine grows, its roots go deeper and deeper and deeper. As it's growing up top, the roots grow down lower. I mean, that basically it is with every crop. But grapevines really search for water. They're vines, and since back in the 60s, in a lot of places in the world, they weren't doing drip irrigation. So therefore, the grapevines themselves had to look for a water source. To do this, they sent their roots down and they were searching through all sorts of stuff, and they find a water source and they would be there. I mean, these things were rooted deep because some areas had very little water. And they were also going through a lot of different soils and stuff to get to that water. And so there was no drip irrigation. They had to find the water themselves. And so it created deeper roots, a different aspect of terroir, I guess you would say, because it was digging down deeper. And so the old vines were planted before deep irrigation, or before drip irrigation. They were going deep to get it. Then they started drip irrigation, where they put lines through all the vineyards, and it would drip onto the plant. And you can get any number of amount of water. It drips onto your plant. When I had the vineyard, I started out with a very small drip irrigation, and well, not real small. I started out with a somewhat small drip irrigation, and as the weather and range changed, I went around and I changed them to an even smaller one because I didn't need that much water. But I still need to water them because in the summertime here we do get hot and all that. So that does make a difference. Your drip irrigation keeps your plant going. So young vines, on the other hand, tend to be vigorous and highly productive up to about the 10 to 15 year mark. And then depending on how they're pruned and maintained, yields start to decline. Okay, most wineries rip them out at that point, replant them to ensure that they're getting as much fruit as possible. And that's usually as a vine gets older, it doesn't produce as much fruit, but it is said to produce more quality fruit. I don't know, because Dr. Dylan Grigg, a viticulture consultant who studies old vines, has found the opposite. He said, we found in the Barossa that older vines had more fruit in some cases. These vines were producing quality fruit past the 20 or even 30-year mark, had likely been carefully looked after, were well selected, and had been planted in a fitting location. And the vine's ability to weather stress and change in their surroundings also helped. So this is old vine. Another reason old vines are more resilient than young ones, they have potential to store more carbohydrates, which can potentially buffer environmental shifts like heat waves, frosty springs, and droughts. Not proven that it does that, but potentially. Old vines iron out the ups and downs of the season, said Griggs. They stick to it in terms of yield and growth. So old vines will combat the climate, the weather, the water, all that stuff, and get what they need in the water. They'll stick their roots down there, find something to water themselves. If they don't need it and there's a bunch of water on the top, they don't drink it up. It's just overall, old vines have learned how to survive themselves and survive well. So, do old vines taste better? Well, most agree that old vines are more complex with better color and higher acidity. That's really the bottom line for most professionals. But there's a lot of speculation of why. A lot of them think it's because that old vines produce smaller berry size, which then concentrates a higher ratio of tannins. But then, as Professor Griggs actually found that some of the older vines had larger berries than younger vines. The old vines that produce larger berries do so perhaps because they're less stressed, and so they've adapted to the climate and the growing conditions. Tannin levels are generally about the same at old and young vines when they're the same variety and grown in the same area, same place. However, sensory panels have shown that vines made from the fruit of older vines tend to have more red fruit notes, while younger vines lead to wines with more blue fruit notes. Still, these differences are hard to break down scientifically. So, what does it mean, red fruit notes and blue fruit notes? Not a lot, because scientifically they really can't give you an answer. Grigg says there's something in there that our palates can pick up on. It's like there are more pixels in older vines than younger vines. So, doesn't help you a lot, does it? But old vines are out there. You can find them all over the place. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Here's a Grenache from France, old vine, Pinot Noir from Russian River Valley. Here's Old Vine Zinfandel from Mendocino. Old Vine Zinfandels are usually my favorite. Old Vine Red, non-vintage California one. There's an Old Vine Chenin Blanc, a white wine from Yakima Valley. Some French ones, Old Vine 2019 Premier Cru, Old Vine 2021. Where is this from? I don't know. I can't read the French. I don't know where that's from. Australian wines. Thistledown 2021 Grenache from McLaren Vale. One from Barossa 2018 Grenache. There's a Spanish one, 2022 Old Vine from Valderas. And 2021 Zesta Mavar Old Vine, Vinos de Atlántico. Here's another Spanish one, Bodegos Niquias 2020, Grenache Old Vine, Volver 2021, Tarima Hill Old Vine Monastrell, or Alicante. One's out of Puerto Rico. Here's a 2019 red of the Douro. Another Douro 2020 Vina de Francisco red. South Africa, Chenin Blanc 2022. So there are old vine from all over the place. But just remember, any of them, there's no standard for old vine anywhere. I mean, old vine could be a 20-year-old vine that they didn't rip out when it's 15 years old because it wasn't producing. It could mean anything anywhere. So if you're into old vines and really old vines, you might look for ones that have a standard. And I sort of like the ones from Barossa, Australia, the way they set that up. So there you go. Have yourself a good week and enjoy wine. And we're done for tonight.
All right. We will be back next Thursday, which is January the 18th, with a special guest. I believe you mentioned it at the beginning of the show. So we'll have him, the author of The Wine List, and give you some more information as well as the show before the show starts. So tune in live next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Facebook and X, Twitter, and BTR, but it's Blog Talk Radio, and wherever this show is airing at the time. So.
Yeah, wherever else we happen to pop up on.
Yeah. So check it out. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a great week and weekend ahead. Be safe, and we'll talk to you after next Thursday. Thank you. Have a good day, evening.
Yeah. Be safe. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thank you.
This concludes tonight's broadcast of All About Wine with your host, Ron. For show information, links to All About Wine on Twitter and Facebook, or to be a guest on this show, visit the show website at www.allaboutwinebtr.com. Archived shows are available for download on iTunes or on our show page at blogtalkradio.com/allaboutwine. Thank you for listening. Drink responsibly, and we'll see you next time on All About